Hi guys. Step into a world where every shadow hides a secret, and every moment could change everything. In today's video, we're counting down the top 14 best thriller movies streaming this June 2025 on Netflix, fuboTv, and Amazon Prime Video. These films are packed with tension, mystery, and unexpected twists that will keep you guessing until the very end. From psychological mind games to gripping crime dramas, each pick promises a pulse-pounding ride you won't forget. Buckle up, it's time for some serious thrills. Number 14. Uninvited. Directed by Dan Villegas, Uninvited, 2024, is a tightly wound psychological thriller that turns grief into a weapon and justice into a question of resolve. The story centers around a determined woman who arrives at a high-society birthday party under mysterious pretenses. As the celebration unfolds, her presence disrupts the carefully curated atmosphere, casting a shadow over the glittering facade. Each interaction hints at deeper motives and past wrongs, and the party soon becomes a battleground of veiled threats, secrets, and emotional reckoning. Rather than relying on fast action, the film builds its suspense through psychological confrontation and subtle power shifts. Leading the film is Vilma Santos, who delivers a quietly powerful performance layered with sorrow, restraint, and unshakable purpose. Her calm intensity anchors the film, while the surrounding cast, composed of political elites, oblivious family members, and self-interested guests, adds dimension to the social dynamics at play. Uninvited is more than a tale of revenge. It's a tense, character-driven examination of grief, power, and the moral complexities of confronting injustice. Number 13. Encounter. Directed by Michael Pierce, Encounter is a haunting psychological thriller that uses a sci-fi premise to explore trauma, fatherhood, and the fragility of perception. The story follows Malik Khan, Riz Ahmed, a former Marine convinced that microscopic parasites from space are subtly taking over humanity. He believes his ex-wife and much of the population are compromised, so he springs into action, abducting his 2 young sons and setting off on a tense cross-country drive toward what he thinks is safety. As the miles pass, doubt begins to creep in. Is the invasion real, or is Malik being driven by grief and PTSD? Riz Ahmed delivers a compelling performance, embodying the thin line between fierce paternal instinct and a man unraveling. His intensity anchors the film, grounded by touching, natural portrayals from Lucien River Chauhan and Aditya Gadada as his sons. Octavia Spencer adds a grounded presence as Malik's parole officer, part voice of reason, part sympathetic observer, as reality blurs in haunting ways. Shifting from eerie sci-fi visuals to emotional suspense, Encounter becomes a subtle, slow-burn thriller. Not about aliens, but about internal battles and the damage inflicted by loss. Number 12. Murder at Yellowstone City. Directed by Richard Gray, Murder at Yellowstone City is a gritty Western murder mystery that blends classic frontier storytelling with themes of justice, racism, and redemption. The story unfolds in the formerly prosperous Yellowstone City, where the discovery of gold leads to a brutal murder. When a mysterious former slave named Cicero arrives in town, suspicion quickly falls on him. As tensions rise and the town's buried prejudices emerge, a preacher and his wife begin to question the official version of events. What follows is a tense unraveling of secrets, lies, and loyalties that challenge the community's definition of truth and justice. Isaiah Mustafa leads the cast with a quiet strength as Cicero, delivering a restrained and layered performance. Thomas Jane adds gravitas as the town's conflicted preacher, while Anna Camp brings warmth and resolve to the role of his wife. With its somber tone, slow-building suspense, and socially conscious undercurrents, Murder at Yellowstone City is more than just a Western. It's a brooding mystery wrapped in the harshness of frontier life, offering a thoughtful take on justice in a lawless land. Number 11. Nancy. Directed by Christina Cho, Nancy is a haunting psychological drama about loneliness, identity, and the human need to belong. Choi's direction leans into the cold isolation of a New England winter, crafting an eerie, intimate atmosphere that mirrors Nancy's fractured mental state. The story follows Nancy Freeman, Andrea Riseborough, a struggling writer and relentless liar who fabricates stories, including posing as a grieving parent on her blog to fill emotional voids. Following her mother's death, Nancy becomes obsessed with a news report about a couple whose daughter vanished decades ago. Believing she resembles their missing child, she inserts herself into their lives, setting off a tense, emotionally fraught connection built on deception. Andrea Riseborough delivers a mesmerizing, layered performance, balancing quiet desperation with unsettling intensity. Opposite her, Steve Buscemi and J. Smith Cameron portray the hopeful yet cautious Lynch couple with empathy and restraint. Their dynamic adds emotional depth to Nancy's disturbing intrusion and raises questions about whether she's seeking truth or crafting fantasy. With its haunting cinematography, deliberate pacing, and morally ambiguous characters, Nancy is more character study than thriller. It's a psychological exploration of grief, self-deception, and the lengths people go to feel connected. Number 10. Good Boy. Directed by Viljar, Good Boy is a provocative psychological horror that turns romantic unease into unsettling terror. Boy's direction embraces a surreal premise and quiet tension, crafting a slow-burning story that moves from quirky discomfort to genuinely disturbing dread. The story follows Sigrid, a student who begins dating Christian, a wealthy bachelor with an eccentric living situation. His so-called dog roommate, Frank, is actually a man in a full canine persona. What starts as odd but harmless curiosity soon morphs into creeping dread. Christian's bizarre household becomes a breeding ground for psychological manipulation, and Sigrid's trust spirals into paralysis amid escalating unease. Katrine Lovise Upstad Fredriksson quietly grounds Sigrid in a performance that shifts from curiosity to growing terror. Opposite her, Gard Lucca's composed portrayal of Christian masks deeper psychological twists, while Nikolai Narveson leads unsettling silent Frank evokes both sympathy and horror. Their interplay fuels the film's off-kilter tension. Number 9. On the Line. Directed by Romuald Boulanger, On the Line is a high-concept thriller that plays out in real time, blending media tension with psychological mind games. Set almost entirely within a late-night radio station, Boulanger's direction leans into the confined space to build a sense of immediacy and claustrophobia. The story centers on Elvis Cooney, a veteran shock jock who receives a chilling phone call during his live broadcast. The anonymous caller claims to have taken Elvis's family hostage and forces him into a dangerous series of decisions as the night spirals out of control. With the world listening, Elvis races to uncover the truth, maneuvering through a series of psychological challenges that blur the line between game and reality. The film steadily escalates tension through a series of tightly timed reveals and reversals. Mel Gibson anchors the film with a performance full of grit and urgency. As Elvis, he shifts between sarcastic confidence and raw panic, holding the screen with his signature intensity. Supporting performances from William Moseley and Kevin Dillon add depth and urgency to the tightly knit ensemble, helping to sustain the real-time momentum and emotional stakes. Slick, tense, and unpredictable, On the Line offers a taut thriller experience wrapped in the unpredictability of live broadcast. Number 8. Do Patty. Directed by Shashanka Chaturvedi, Do Patty, 2024, is a compelling Hindi mystery thriller that weaves twin sister rivalry into a gripping, cagey investigation. With crisp direction and dramatic hill station vistas, the film avoids typical crime thriller tropes by exploring psychological tension and familial fault lines. The story follows identical twins Samya and Shaili, both played with distinct flair by Kriti Sanon, and their entangled link to a wealthy husband, Dhruv Shirshik. Following an attempted murder accusation, a no-nonsense police inspector, Kajol, unravels a web of jealousy, abuse, and buried secrets. The narrative carefully balances twin dynamics and legal drama, building suspense without relying on melodrama. Kriti Sanon shines in her dual roles, capturing Soumya's subdued inner conflict and Shaily's volatile ambition. Kajol is solid as the determined inspector, anchoring the story with quiet authority. The supporting cast adds depth, and the scenic Uttarakhand setting enhances the film's ominous mood. Toned down yet intense, Dupati delivers a focused blend of mystery and family drama. While some find its courtroom elements a bit uneven, the film's heart lies in its character performances and emotional undercurrents. It's a layered thriller that avoids cheap shocks, offering an intriguing study of obligation, rivalry, and justice. Number 7. The Haunted Apartment, Miss K. Directed by Guntur Soharjanto, The Haunted Apartment, Miss K, also titled Panggonan Winggit 2, Miss K, 2024, is a chilling Indonesian supernatural thriller that grounds folklore in eerie realism. Set within an actual apartment building in Surabaya, the film weaves urban legend and local culture into a haunting narrative that feels rooted in place and tradition. The story follows Alma, Sinta Laura, and her younger sister Mia, Kalista Aram, who move into a Surabaya apartment after their mother's passing. They're warned not to enter the sealed 6th floor, but curiosity and an unexplained maintenance issue draw them to apartment 610. There they encounter the ghostly figure of a woman and a child who ominously declare, 4 days, sunset, kicking off a countdown of escalating supernatural terror. Sinta Laura delivers a poised performance as Alma, capturing her transformation from practical caretaker to terrified survivor. Kalista Aram complements her with the quiet innocence Mia needs, offering emotional depth amid the dread. With its moody visuals, rooted cultural setting, and a slow-burning buildup of suspense, The Haunted Apartment, Miss K offers a fresh take on jump-scare horror. It balances traditional ghost story elements like spectral warnings and mutilation with atmospheric dread, making it a standout for fans of folklore-infused supernatural thrillers. Number 6. Hell or High Water. Directed by David Mackenzie, Hell or High Water is a modern neo-Western crime thriller that combines tense action with poignant social commentary. With a script penned by Taylor Sheridan, the film paints a vivid picture of economically strained rural America while delivering a tight, character-driven heist story. The story follows two brothers, Toby and Tanner Howard, who begin robbing small banks across Texas to save their family's ranch from foreclosure. Toby, a quiet and calculated divorced father, is driven by desperation and a sense of justice. Tanner, an impulsive ex-con with a violent streak, joins him out of loyalty. As the brothers embark on their crime spree, they're pursued by a seasoned Texas Ranger on the brink of retirement and his sharp-tongued partner. What unfolds is a cat-and-mouse chase layered with moral ambiguity and emotional depth. Chris Pine and Ben Foster deliver compelling performances as the Howard brothers, each bringing complexity and contrast to their roles. Pine plays Toby with subdued emotion and quiet conviction, while Foster's Tanner is unpredictable yet strangely sympathetic. Jeff Bridges, as the grizzled Texas Ranger, brings gravitas and dry wit to the role, anchoring the lawman's perspective with empathy and grit. With its sharp writing, strong performances, and haunting sense of place, Hell or High Water stands out as a gripping and thoughtful thriller. It's a story about loyalty, survival, and systems that fail the people within them, offering thrills that resonate well beyond the gunfights and getaway scenes. Number 5. Mass. Directed by Fran Kranz, Mass is a deeply emotional chamber drama that tackles grief, forgiveness, and the long shadow of tragedy with raw, human intensity. In his directorial debut, Kranz trades spectacle for substance, creating a quiet yet powerful space where dialogue carries the full emotional weight. The story centers on two sets of parents who meet in a church basement years after a school shooting that forever changed their lives. One couple lost their son in the attack. The other is the parents of the shooter. What begins as an uneasy encounter slowly unravels into an intense emotional exchange as each side processes guilt, sorrow, and the unimaginable grief of what they've lived through. The film avoids sensationalism, instead focusing on the raw, often uncomfortable humanity of its characters. Reed Birney, Ann Dowd, Jason Isaacs, and Martha Plimpton delivered tour-de-force performances. Each actor brings emotional depth and restraint, never overplaying the anguish but letting it simmer just beneath the surface. Ann Dowd, in particular, is hauntingly vulnerable, while Jason Isaacs anchors the film with steady, simmering pain. Their chemistry and vulnerability give the film its profound emotional resonance. Quiet, cathartic, and unflinchingly honest, Mass is a rare kind of drama that explores unimaginable loss without offering easy answers. Number 4. The Walk. Directed by Robert Zemeckis, The Walk, 2015, is a visually stunning and emotionally uplifting biographical drama that recounts one of the most daring feats in modern history. Blending technical wizardry with heartfelt storytelling, the story follows Philippe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, a passionate and slightly eccentric French high-wire artist, as he dreams of performing the impossible. Determined to walk a wire between the towers of the just-completed World Trade Center, Philippe assembles a team of accomplices and plans what he calls the coup, an illegal, meticulously orchestrated wire walk at dizzying heights. The film takes viewers from his early training in Paris to the heart-pounding execution of his high-wire act in New York. Joseph Gordon-Levitt brings charm, energy, and conviction to his role as Petit, capturing both his showman's confidence and childlike wonder. With a convincing French accent and physical agility, Gordon-Levitt makes Philippe a compelling and likable protagonist. It's an exhilarating and touching ride that celebrates the power of vision and courage. Number 3. The Hunt for Red October. Directed by John McTiernan, The Hunt for Red October is a taut and intelligent Cold War thriller that blends military strategy with political intrigue. Based on Tom Clancy's best-selling novel, the film marks the first cinematic appearance of Jack Ryan, a CIA analyst who would go on to anchor a franchise. Set in 1984, the film follows Soviet submarine captain Marco Ramius, Sean Connery, who goes rogue with the USSR's newest nuclear submarine, the Red October. With the power to strike undetected, the submarine's disappearance sets off alarm bells in both Washington and Moscow. CIA analyst Jack Ryan, Alec Baldwin, believes Ramius is trying to defect rather than launch an attack, but convincing the U.S. military and locating the Red October in time proves to be a high-stakes gamble. Sean Connery delivers a commanding performance as Ramius, portraying the captain as a man of principle and quiet intensity. Alec Baldwin brings intelligence and approachability to Jack Ryan, balancing analytical cool with moments of real tension. The strong supporting cast, including Scott Glenn, James Earl Jones, and Sam Neill, adds weight to the film's complex geopolitical dynamics. With its detailed naval sequences, atmospheric tension, and sharp dialogue, The Hunt for Red October remains a standout in the political thriller genre. It combines technical authenticity with emotional resonance, offering a smart, suspenseful narrative that never loses sight of the human motivations behind the military hardware. It's a classic Cold War chess game played out beneath the waves. Number 2. Ferry. Directed by Cecilia Verheiden, Ferry 2021, is a gritty Dutch-Belgian crime thriller that serves as a prequel to the hit Netflix series Undercover. The film dives into the origin story of Ferry Boomen, one of the show's central figures, revealing how a petty criminal from Amsterdam evolved into a powerful drug lord. The story follows Ferry Boomen, Frank Lammers, as he returns to his hometown in Brabant on a revenge mission after an attack on his boss's family. What begins as a simple job soon becomes more complicated when Ferry reconnects with people from his past, especially Danielle, Elise Schopp, a woman who starts to challenge his worldview. As the violence escalates and secrets unravel, Ferry is forced to confront who he is and who he wants to become. Frank Lammers brings charisma and layered emotion to the role, balancing the hardened criminal exterior with moments of vulnerability. His chemistry with Elise Schopp is compelling and gives the film its emotional anchor. Shop's Danielle adds depth and warmth, providing a contrast to the brutal world Ferry inhabits. With its moody cinematography, strong performances, and tight pacing, Ferry stands on its own as both a gripping crime drama and a character study. It's a solid blend of crime, emotion, and moral ambiguity, wrapped in a raw, European noir aesthetic. Number 1. Rear Window. Directed by Alfred Hitchcock, Rear Window, 1954, is a masterclass in suspense and voyeurism that has become one of the most iconic thrillers in cinematic history. Hitchcock's direction transforms a confined apartment space into a labyrinth of secrets, offering a gripping story built on tension, observation, and the thin line between curiosity and intrusion. With its clever use of perspective and atmosphere, the film remains timeless in both concept and execution. The story centers on L.B. Jeff Jeffries, James Stewart, a photojournalist confined to his apartment with a broken leg. Out of boredom, he begins watching his neighbors from his rear window, slowly piecing together the dramas unfolding in each apartment. But when he suspects that one neighbor may have committed murder, Jeff's amateur sleuthing becomes dangerous and obsessive. What begins as idle observation turns into a chilling game of suspicion and risk. James Stewart gives a charismatic and nuanced performance, capturing both Jeff's curiosity and his moral ambiguity. Grace Kelly shines as Lisa Fremont, his stylish and resourceful girlfriend, who brings elegance and unexpected courage to the unfolding mystery. The chemistry between the two leads adds romantic tension that balances the film's suspenseful tone. With its tight script, innovative camera work, and slow-building dread, Rear Window is more than a mystery. It's a sharp commentary on surveillance, privacy, and human nature. Hitchcock's storytelling is both playful and unnerving, making the audience complicit in Jeff's gaze. Decades later, it still stands as a benchmark for the genre, proving that the greatest suspense doesn't need to leave the room.